Welcome to the export topic number 6, the Karakhanids state in medieval Kazakhstan. This era marks a new stage in Turkish statehood where nomadic traditional urban culture merged into a unique civilization. Behind me in the National Museum we can see the real evidence of the Golden Age, from the famous Taurus bronze to the first glazed ceramic of the 12th century. Let's take a closer look at how the Karakhanids transformed the Great Silk Road and created a lasting legacy for the Turkish world.
The Karakhan state occupied an important place in the history of medieval Kazakhstan and Central Asia. It was one of the earliest major Turk Muslim states and played an important role in the political culture and the urban transformation. For this reason, the Karakhanids can be studied not only as a ruling dynasty, but also as civilizations that influenced architecture, economy, religion, and cultural life. Historians study the Karakhan from the several representatives. Some focus on dynastic and political history, while others examine religion, architecture, cities, trade, and writing culture. In academic literature, the Karakhanids are often presented as a bridge between early Turk political formation and the later Islamic states of Central Asia. Our research question is: why can the Karakhan state be considered a new stage in the evolution of Turkic statehood in medieval Kazakhstan? These questions allows us to move beyond a simple description of events and instead analyze what changed in religion, politics, culture, and society during the Karakhan period. We answer this question through comparison, written source, and material evidence. Our main thesis is that the Karakhan state became a new stage of Turkic statehood because it combined earlier Turkic tradition with Islamic legitimacy, stronger urban development, wider trade connection, and a more developed cultural environment. In other words, the Karakhanid did not simply continue older tradition, they transformed them and adapted them to a new historical contents. Historically, the Karakhan state emerged in the 10th century and became one of the first major Turk Muslim states in Central Asia. Its influence extended over territories connected with medieval Kazakhstan, especially Jitsu and southern Kazakhstan. The Karakhans ruled important cities and trade routes, which increased their political and economic significance. Before moving to the analysis, let us briefly look at the visual material connected with the Karakhanid world.
So the Karakhanid state in 1942, the founder of the Karakhanid state, Satuk Bagra Khan, dethroned the ruler of Balasagun and declared himself a Kagan. In the formation of the Karakhanid state, the main role was played by the tribes of the Karluk Confederation. Karluk, Chigris, and Yavgmaz. In 1040, the Karakhanid state split into the western and eastern Kaganads. In 1049, the western Karakhanid Kaganat became a vassal of the Seljuks, and in 1210, the west Karakhanid Kaghanat became a vassal of the Koremkhshas Muhammad II. In 1141, the Eastern Karakhanid Kaghanat became dependent on the Karakati and was subsequently destroyed by the Naimans in 1212.
The Karakhanids were closely connected with the territory of medieval Kazakhstan through cities, trade centers, monuments, and political influence. Their rule affected both settled and semi-nomadic regions. Their presence in territory can be studied through urban center architecture and artifacts, coins, inscriptions, and literary traditions. To understand why the Karakhanids represent a new stage, it is necessary to compare them with earlier Turkic political formations. Earlier Turkic states were based more strongly on steppe traditions, military power, tribal structures, and nomadic ways of life. The Karakhanids preserved some of these features, but they also introduced important new elements, such as Islamic legitimacy, urban administration, and writing scholarship. Our comparative approach focuses on several parameters: religion, political legitimacy, the role of cities, cultural and writing traditions, and architecture or material evidence. Throughout the cities' comparison, we can see that Karakhanid state was not just another Turkic dynasty. It represented a more complex and historically no political model. One of the most important changes was the role of Islam. Earlier Turkic political formations were deeply rooted in traditional beliefs and steppe concept of power. The Karakhanids adopted Islamic rule and Muslim identity, which gave the state a new ideological foundation connected it to the wider Islamic world. Another major feature of Karakhanid period was the strengthening of urban culture. Cities became important centers of trade, administration, craftsmanship, religion life, and cultural exchange. This urban growth shows that the Karakhanid state developed beyond a purely steppe political model and became more closely linked with the settled civilization. The Karakhanid state was also closely connected with long-distance trade through the Silk Road. Trade routes supported the movement of goods, the exchange of ideas, the circulation of coins, cultural interaction, and growth of cities. This means that the Karakhanid state was integrated into a larger world of commercial and cultural exchange.
The Karakhanid period is especially important because it contributed to writing culture and intellectual development. This era is associated with important works such as Kutatgu and Divan. This writing shows that shows that the Karakhanid world was not only politically organized, but also intellectually active. To understand the Karakhanid period more deeply, we must examine primary written sources. These sources are valuable because they reveal how people of the time understood power, morality, identity, and historical change. They help you see not only facts, but also the worldview and values of the period. One of the most important sources for our topic is Kutatgu Belik by Yusuf Balasuguni. This work reflects ideas about rulerships, justice, wisdom, social order, and moral responsibility. It shows that political authority in the Karakhanid environment was connected not only with power, but also with ethics and good governance. Another important source is Divan Luhat al-Turk by Mahmoud al-Kashgari. This work preserves valuable information about Turkic language, identity, customs, and the cultural world of Turkic peoples. Together with Kutatgu Belik, it provides that the Karakhanid period was significant not only politically, but also intellectually and culturally. Primary sources matter because they provide direct evidence of political language, literary culture, and intellectual tradition. They help us understand how authority was conceived, how justice was connected with rule, how Turkic identity was expressed, and how the Islamic and Turkic world interacted. They support the idea that the Karakhanids created a more sophisticated form of statehood.
Besides written sources, material culture also plays a central role in our analysis. Artifacts, architecture, coins, inscriptions, and museum objects make historical change visible. They show how political authority, religion, urban development, and trade were expressed in physical form in the Karahanid period.
The Karakhan mausoleum was built over the grave of the Taraz ruler. In the 11th century, who belonged to the Karakhanid dynasty, it's located in Taraz city.
Monumental architecture also clearly signs of cultural and political development during the Karahanid period. Mausoleums and other architectural remains demonstrate urban sophistication, religious influence, artistic development, and the public representation of power. This is why architecture is one of the key arguments in our presentation.
The artifact from the 12th and 13th centuries, item 12, 14, and 17, represented a new stage in the Turkic statehood under the Karakhanids. The master of glazing and the potter wheels proves that high level urban development in the city step systems. Key highlights such as Taraz dancers and the lion imager, a royal symbol of the Arslan Khans, demonstrate the sophisticated culture symbol of nomadic tradition and the settled Islamic art. These exhibits confirm that the Karakhan era was a golden age of trade and craftsmanship in medieval Kazakhstan.
Artifacts connected with the 12th and 13th centuries help us understand the continuity and development of the culture world shaped by the Karahanid era. Ceramics, decorate arts, tools, household items, and archaeological finds fuel everyday life, craft traditions, urban development. This shows that political transformation also had visible effects in the material world. Urban culture can be studied not only through text but also through archaeological museum evidence. Building fragments, ceramic, trace objects, decorative art, and craft evidence all demonstrate that Karahanid society was closely connected with organized urban centers. This strengthens the argument that the period was marked by a more complex social and political structure. Coins are among the most valuable historical sources for studying medieval states. They show economic activity, trade, network, states' sovereignty, cultural identity, and linguistic practices. In the Karahanid period, coins connected with the Silk Road demonstrate both the economic and political presence of the state in the wider medieval world.
The Karakhanid state was a Turkic dynasty in Central Asia. Karakhanid state, they issued silver and copper coins used in Silk Road trade. The coins had Arabic inscriptions showing Islamic influence. Today they are important historical artifacts.
Islamic influence during the Karahanid period changed much more than religion alone. It also affected political legitimacy, architecture, inscriptions, education, intellectual life, and cultural values. For this reason, Islamization should be understood as one of the main forces that reshaped Turkish statehood in medieval Kazakhstan. When we examine political history, written sources, cities, and trade, materials, culture, and Islamic influence together, a clear pattern appears. All this form of evidence supports the same conclusion. The Karahanid state was a new stage in the evolution of Turkish statehood. It marked a significant transformation rather than a simple continuation of oral traditions. We can now answer our research question directly. The Karahanid state can be considered as a new stage in Turkish statehood because it united Turkish political foundation with Islamic legitimacy, strong urban growth, wider trade networks, and developed written and material culture. This combination made the Karahanid period historically unique and highly influential. In conclusion, the Karahanid period was a turning point in the history of medieval Kazakhstan. The Karakhanids preserved important elements of early Turkish traditions, but they also transformed them through Islam, urbanization, trade, architecture, and intellectual life. That is why Karakhanids stage should be understood as a major stage in the evolution of Turkish civilization. Thank you for your attention. This source of material help us analyze the Karakhanid state from political, cultural, and historical perspective.